They called it an unbreakable brotherhood, two titans who climbed from street corner mixtapes to the Forbes billionaires list. But on May 5th, 2025, the velvet rope was ripped away, and both men found themselves staring at the same federal courthouse doors. One of them, Sean Diddy Combs, shuffled in, wearing a beige jail jumpsuit. The other, Sean Jay-Z Carter, paced in a Roc Nation boardroom, wondering whether his name would echo through that courtroom before the summer ended. What began as a plea deal whisper has become a thunderclap that could topple a decade-long dynasty. Keep watching, because the secret tapes, the freak-off allegations, and the politics of silence are now Exhibit A. Hours before jury questionnaires hit desks, prosecutors dangled one last lifeline. Admit partial guilt, drop a few names, shave years off a life sentence horizon. Diddy didn't just decline, he torched the bridge. Court insiders say the offer required him to confirm details of a trafficking ring that punched straight through his recording studios and into VIP guest lists peppered with A-listers. Accepting would stamp rat across his legacy. Refusing hurled the full weight of RICO onto his shoulders. The gamble? That silence could still be traded later for something better, especially if a more valuable canary stepped forward first. His security detail tried to play it cool, cracking jokes about late-night studio sessions. But behind the jokes was an unmistakable tremor. Once trial clocks start ticking, prosecutors rarely stop them, and they'd already preloaded their arsenal. Hundreds of seized devices, iCloud backups, and the so-called vault drive stuffed with party footage. The plea's collapse signaled two things. 1. The government thinks it can win without cooperation. 2. Diddy believes someone richer, quieter, and far more risk-averse will squeal before he has to. He thought silence would save him, but another empire was already shaking. Jay-Z has always treated trouble like bad press. Ignore it long enough, and the cycle moves on. That tactic shatters under subpoena threat. Former federal prosecutors note that even a witness subpoena forces mandatory disclosure meetings under oath, and perjury in a RICO case is its own fast track to handcuffs. Behind Roc Nation's frosted glass doors, staffers describe a frantic triage, shredders running overtime, travel logs triple-checked, burner phone inventories audited. Sources claim Homeland Security investigations quietly interviewed 2 Roc Nation accountants in late April. The agency won't confirm or deny. Meanwhile, Beyoncé's legal team has ghosted daytime TV producers and postponed 3 philanthropic events. Rare moves for a brand that schedules appearances a year out. No one's uttering the S-word, but the eyes tell the story. And if history is a guide, Jay-Z fights fires by lighting smaller ones in someone else's backyard. Long before billion-dollar boardrooms, there was the 1999 Kit Kat Club chaos, Jay-Z's third-degree assault plea for a backstage stabbing. The same winter, a nightclub gunfight tethered Diddy to criminal donation headlines for months. Different nights, same pattern. Violence, sealed settlements, careers somehow soaring higher. By the mid-2000s, the two were co-hosting Hampton's all-white parties and swapping management tips about catalog ownership. But for every champagne toast, there was a back-channel call to quash a leak, NDA payouts to dancers, hush money for security guards, one particularly frantic wire to Las Vegas after a recording engineer threatened to sell freak-off audio. Their shared defense today: separate camps, separate crimes. Prosecutors aim to prove the opposite, that the trafficking supply chain blurred along private jet routes, and that one friend's party budget became the other's recruitment fund. Those blurred lines lead straight to the most infamous guest list in hip-hop lore. On a sunny August afternoon, New York Mayor Eric Adams handed Diddy the ceremonial key to the city, praising his incredible charitable spirit. 3 months later, Adams himself was staring down a bribery indictment tied to foreign campaign cash. Federal subpoenas vacuumed up his phone records, staff emails, and every photo op log-linking City Hall to Combs's charity galas. Adams' case was ultimately dismissed with prejudice this April after the DOJ controversially pulled the plug, sparking the resignation of 3 prosecutors. But digital forensics don't disappear with legal filings. Copies live on servers already mirrored into the Diddy evidence vault. The optics are brutal. A mayor indicted, a mogul jailed, and one glittering ceremony binding their timelines like a chain. Meanwhile, the lawyers paid to untangle that chain are cutting themselves loose. February 21st, 2025, veteran defense pitbull Anthony RICO clocks out of Team Diddy with a one-line bombshell. Under no circumstances can I continue. Translation: whatever he saw in Discovery was radioactive enough to risk his own reputation. Days later, powerhouse firm Grubman Shire, Meiselas and Sachs drops Diddy after a rumored ultimatum from Lady Gaga: dump him or I walk. Overnight, Combs loses the firm that brokered half of his catalog deals. Jay-Z's longtime attorney Alex Spiro quietly declines comment on whether Roc Nation still employs Grubman for other matters, but industry insiders whisper that emails between the firm and Roc Accounting were among the seized files. When paid defenders bail, judges notice, and jurors wonder why. Yet the calendar refuses to wait for fresh counsel. May 5th, 2025, jury selection. 600 New Yorkers shuffle through metal detectors. Their questionnaires ask whether they've heard of Kanye West, Michelle Williams, Kid Cudi, Gloria Estefan, Beyonce, and yes, Sean Carter. Judge Supermanian laughs that the witness appendix reads like Lord of the Rings. The joke masks a logistical nightmare. If even half those names take the stand, opening statements could slip to June. Cassie sits in the front row, flanked by advocates. Diddy cranes his neck to mouth "I love you" to his mother, who wipes a tear. Across town, paparazzi stake out Roc Nation HQ. Jay-Z ducks into an SUV with blackout windows, refusing questions about a rumored meeting with federal investigators. Court clerks estimate the trial at 8 weeks, but RICO timelines expand like wet paper when new evidence drops mid-proceeding. And the longer the courtroom theater drags on, the greater the pressure to flip. Federal playbooks reward late-stage cooperation. Slice 10 years for a ledger, 20 for a hard drive, sometimes freedom for the right taped confession. Rumor mills claim investigators already possess a security cam clip showing Jay-Z discussing inventory with Diddy's assistant in 2017. If so, prosecutors could threaten asset freeze orders on Roc Nation streaming revenue by July. That's why insiders predict a sudden acoustical phenomenon, the sound of billionaires talking. Jay-Z's empire stresses silence as brand integrity. Diddy's empire now values oxygen over image. 2 men, 1 microphone, and a ticking sentencing guideline chart. First confession wins. In the words of a retired HSI agent, empires don't fall in earthquakes. They crumble one whispered name at a time. And when the crumble starts, even Grammy-plated walls can't hold. The story isn't about a single mogul in cuffs. It's about a network that mistook fame for armor. Diddy wagered that bravado could outrun subpoenas. Jay-Z banked on wealth-muting allegations. Mayor Adams thought photo ops could erase donor receipts. One by one, those bets are collapsing under sworn testimony, seized phones, and a jury pool that grew up streaming every verse. If the rumored tapes surface, the trial of United States versus Combs could morph into United States versus silence, a case against the whole culture of looking away. And when the final verdict hits, it won't just decide one man's future. It will measure how much darkness an industry is willing to accept in exchange for platinum platters and sold-out stadiums. Stay tuned, because the next name you hear in that courtroom may rewrite music history or bury it. Either way, the stage lights are on, the cameras are rolling, and the mic is live.